Very good day, guys. Welcome back again. I'm your host, Dr. Sachin Yadav. So, today we are going to learn about the attachment and the relations of the mandible. So, last time you have seen all the features of the mandible. So, today the attachment and relations. So, in that we will see the oblique line. The oblique line which is present on the lateral side of the body of the mandible. It gives origin to the buccinator as far forward as anterior border of the first molar tooth. In front of this origin, the depressor labia inferioris and depressor anguli oris arise from the oblique line below the mental foramen. Okay, then the incisive fossa. It is giving origin to the mentalis muscle and mental slips of the orbicularis oris. Got it? Then parts of both the inner and outer surfaces just below the alveolar margin are covered by the mucous membrane of the mouth. Then you can see here the mylohyoid line. So this is giving origin to the mylohyoid muscle, the same name, the superior constrictor muscle of the pharynx. It is arising from an area above the posterior end of the mylohyoid line from here. Then the pterygomandibular raphe. The pterygomandibular raphe is attached immediately behind the third molar tooth in continuation with the origin of superior constrictor muscle. Which raphe? The pterygomandibular raphe. Got it? Okay. Then the upper genial tubercle and lower genial tubercle. So we'll see the upper genial tubercle. It is giving origin to genioglossus muscle, and the lower tubercle, the pair of the lower tubercle, is giving origin to the geniohyoid muscle. Fine. Then you can see here it is the digastric fossa. So as the name suggests, it is giving origin to the anterior belly of digastric muscle. Then we see this the base of the mandible or lower border of the mandible. It is giving attachment to the deep cervical fascia, the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia or fascia colli. So this is attached to this whole length of the base of the mandible or lower border of whole of the mandible. Then the platysma muscle is also inserted into the lower border, and the whole lateral surface of the ramus, except small part, that is the posterior superior part, except that whole of the lateral surface is giving an insertion to the masseter muscle, one of the important muscle of the masticating muscles. Then the posterior superior part of the lateral surface of this is covered by the parotid gland. Then there is a ligament named sphenomandibular ligament, and this is attached to the lingula. You can see this projection over the mandibular foramen. The attachment here it is sphenomandibular ligament. Then there is a muscle of the mastication named medial pterygoid muscle. So this is inserted on the medial surface of the ramus. Okay, over this area. This is the roughened area below and behind the mylohyoid groove. Okay, and it is in contact with the medial surface in front of the groove. Then the temporalis muscle, it is also masticating muscle, and it is inserted into the apex and medial surface of the coronoid process. The insertion extends downward on the anterior border of the ramus also. Then the lateral pterygoid muscle, that is also masticating muscle, and it is inserted into this pterygoid fovea on the anterior surface of the neck. The pterygoid fovea is giving insertion to the lateral pterygoid muscle. and the muscle is related to the medial surface of the ramus above the mandibular foramen. Now, the lateral surface of the neck, it is providing attachment to the lateral ligament of the temporomandibular joint. Okay, guys, got it? Now we'll see the foramen, the structure passing through the foramina and relation to the other nerves and the vessels. So first we'll see the mental foramen. So mental foramen is transmitting the mental nerve and the mental vessels. Okay. Then we'll see that here the inferior alveolar nerve and the vessels enter the mandibular canal through this mandibular foramen and run forwards within this canal to be come out as mental foramen and mental nerve and the vessels through the mental foramen. Got it? Then the mylohyoid groove here it is. So here the mylohyoid nerve and the vessels are running, and the lingual nerve is related to the medial surface of the ramus in front of the mylohyoid groove here, and the area above and behind the mandibular foramen it is related to the inferior alveolar nerve and the vessels and to the maxillary artery. Inferior alveolar nerve vessels and maxillary artery. Remember it. Then the masseter nerve and the vessels they are passing through the mandibular notch from medial to lateral over the mandibular notch. And auriculotemporal nerve this is related to the medial side of the neck of the mandible. The auriculotemporal nerve is related to this inner or medial side of the neck of mandible. Okay guys, so this was about the foramina and the relations. Now the ossification. The mandible is second bone after the clavicle to ossify in the body, and it is a greater part ossified in the membrane. This means it is mostly membranous bone. And the part ossifying in the cartilage include the incisive part below the incisor teeth, the coronoid process and the condyloid process. So all these are developing from cartilage. And the upper half of the ramus also above the level of the mandibular foramen. Okay guys, so all these are part are developing from cartilage. Now each half of the mandible ossifies from only one center which appears at about 6th week of the intrauterine life in the mesenchymal sheath of Meckel's cartilage near the future mental foramen. Meckel's cartilage means it is the cartilage of the first pharyngeal arch, if you remember from embryology. Okay, and at birth the mandible is consisting of two halves of connecting at the symphysis menta here by the fibrous tissue, and this union is taking place during the first year of the life. So now we'll see at the last section of this part, second last section. After that will be the applied anatomy. So age changes in the mandible. So in infant and the children, the two halves of the mandible fuse during the first year of the life. At birth, the mental foramen opens below the sockets for the two deciduous molar teeth near the lower border, which is so because the bone is made up only of alveolar part of the teeth socket. The mandibular canal runs near the lower border. The foramen and canal gradually shifts upward when the lower part of the mandible get developed. The angle is obtuse, this angle 140 degree or more because the head is in the line with the body. The coronoid process is large and projecting upward above the level of the condyle. And in adults now we'll see what is the features of the mandible different from the childhood mandible. So mental foramen opens midway between the upper and the lower borders because the alveolar and the subalveolar parts of the bone are equally developed now. And the mandibular canal runs parallel with the mylohyoid line. The angle reduces to about 110 or 120 degrees because the ramus becomes almost vertical now. Now in the older age, the teeth falls out and alveolar border is absorbed so that height of the body is markedly reduced. The mental foramen and the mandibular canal are close to the alveolar border and the angle again becomes obtuse 140 degree because the ramus is oblique now. Okay guys, so this were about the 8 changes in the mandible. Now the last part, applied anatomy. So mandible is commonly fractured at the canine socket. Here you can see near this where it is weak. Obviously it is weak here, therefore it is more prone for the fracture. The involvement of the inferior alveolar nerve in the callus may cause the neuralgic pain, which may be referred to the areas of distribution of the buccal and auriculotemporal nerve. If the nerve is paralyzed, the area supplied by the mental nerve become insensitive. Okay, and the next common fracture site is angle of the mandible. So first it was near the canine fossa, canine socket, and the other fracture site is mainly the angle of the mandible. Okay guys, so we have done for this mandible and I hope you have got it, you understood it well. Okay, thank you very much for your patience. So we'll meet again in next video like this. Till then, thank you very much. Goodbye.